So, Mr. Samuel, your cooperation with Agrotech SA started in 2012 with a promise from the Greek dealers to raise the brand to #1 in new tractor sales. So, this is now reality based on official records. Can you tell us a few words about this partnership? How do you see the future of the Greek group here in Greece?
Clearly, they have come a long, long way since 2012, which just says a lot about them as a management team and as an organization, which was further reinforced over the last day with me having a chance to go around and talk to people here at the dealership. Certainly, with what they've accomplished, we hope to help them continue to grow here in Greece through both additional product diversity as well as helping them even get deeper into the market. But quite frankly, when you have an organization as successful as they are, we would not limit them to just Greece. We would like to take a group like this and take them to other markets where they feel good about going, and we think both sides think they can be successful because they are a very, very special management team.
Yes. So, like a branch for the Balkans, let's just say like this.
You never know. I'm not going to say what area, because in some areas we also have very good dealers. We would not take out a very good dealer, but we have other areas where a dealer may be a good dealer, but they don't have a transition plan, yes, where they don't have a management team that can take over when they leave. So that would be an opportunity for them, and we'll just have to see as time continues where all they may be able to go. So
in one of your interviews in 2011, you reported that John Deere is best known for high-power machinery, and that you're trying to broaden the brand worldwide recognition for less powerful tractors and combines. So nowadays, have you managed to acquire this customer base?
Yeah. So what I would say, we've made progress. Yes. Probably not as much progress as I would have liked to seen us make, but we're still focused on it. We're still growing. I think we've made good progress on small tractors. In particular, we've made very good progress in a market like India.
Yes.
And
for smaller tractors.
For smaller tractors. And we're starting to leverage our smaller tractors in China into other markets in sub-Saharan Africa. So we're starting to make that progress, but it's a long journey. It's not just a short race. And I would say the area that we continue to invest in is in particular both for markets like this would be coming up with specialty tractors and broadening our line there, and then also specialty implements where we need to round that out to support dealers like our dealer here.
Recently, it's all over the news, John Deere acquired the Blue River technology.
Yes.
That specializes in farm robotics. John Stone of John Deere said, and I quote, that this type of technology is going to find its way into a broad swath of our machinery. So how will this move affect your product portfolio, and do we require to be on the lookout for similar investment moves from Deere in the future?
I would say that probably you certainly need to be on the lookout for other investments from Deere in companies. Probably not so much in this space. That's what we got here with Blue River is we advanced our capabilities in artificial intelligence and machine learning. That's really what Blue River gives us, and now we get to take those talented people and that ability and incorporate it in many more of our machines, so that you will see our sprayers, for example, incorporate this technology. You'll see some of our planting equipment incorporate it. Blue River, before we acquired, was going down a path more with some vegetable farming and with a little bit with cotton. We'll take it into corn and soybeans.
Corn and soybeans.
And other broadacre crops, where there's a lot of opportunity to leverage our equipment.
As you know, in November, Agritechnica, the leading trade fair for
I'll be
agricultural
there.
machines. Oh, you'll be there.
Yeah.
Okay.
We received a gold medal and 2 silvers this time. So
2 silver and gold,
Yeah.
two gold medal.
1 gold
One
this
gold
time
medal.
and 2 silver. Last time we had 3 gold, but this time 1 gold.
Now I just say that Germany has all the medals.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Yeah, yeah.
So some brands are going to exhibit machinery that use alternative fuels such as methane and gas. What's new to look at from John Deere in the fair? And do you believe that this is an indication that we are on a track towards to independent, energy independent farms?
Well, for us, we'll continue to introduce, we've got a number of new products coming out in model year 18 that we'll display on the fair, including an intelligent combine where it self-adjusts as it goes through the field to minimize loss, maximize yield. There'll be likewise, we'll be bringing out additional sprayer capabilities in terms of spray nozzle technology. We'll have the carbon fiber boom in the booth, which using carbon fiber, it's much stronger and lighter weight,
Yes.
and will be a good addition for us. So there'll be a number of items like that we will be showcasing. Relative to the alternative fuels, it's my personal opinion. Earlier in my career, I ran the engine side of our business, and the diesel engine still is the most efficient, compact power unit. And so many products in agriculture, it's all about the ability to see. And so to have a very compact power unit so that you can see on both sides of the hood to see the rows is very important. What I think you will see, and we are showcasing some of it already, is that you will see hybrid
technology
with electrification.
Yes.
And what that will allow us to do is the diesel engine, inside of its torque curve, there's actually a very small spot where it runs most fuel efficient. If you can use then electrification to create the power needs and keep the engine running in that very sweet spot, yes, then you can save 20-30% fuel economy.
It's like the automotive technology, something like this, the hybrid Toyota Prius, let's just say,
yeah,
in John Deere.
Yeah, we're already doing this in our construction equipment, and we have 2 different versions. We do have a 644 wheel loader that has has an electric motor on it that's tied to the engine and then tied to the transmission. That would be like the Prius. Probably the more impressive one, we have a very large 4-wheel drive loader, 9 1/4 yard wheel loader, where there's electric wheel motors in all 4 wheels, and then an engine sits there to power those through an inverter. And in that case, that machine delivers better productivity than the mechanical drive systems that competitors have, and delivers 40% better fuel efficiency.
So the CIMA, as you know it as the European Agricultural Machinery Commission, says that the General Business Climate Index of the agricultural machinery industry maintains its upward trend, and it will score the highest value since 2012. So what's your opinion of the market situation worldwide nowadays, and what do you think are the trends in demand and investment in agricultural machinery?
Well, I would have said 6 months ago I probably would not have agreed with that comment, but certainly in the last 6 months we've seen things stabilize here in Europe in particular. One still has to appreciate it's coming off a very, very low base. But it's instead of going down further, it looks like things are improving somewhat.
Why is that? The prices fault, the agricultural income?
I think while farmers can delay investment in new equipment for a period of time, as they continue to delay and delay and delay, at some point in time, people end up saying, I need to invest again.
Yes.
And I think
so that's the time
we're in a little bit of that. Now, again, we would argue that we're still down 30+% from what would be a normal year. But
in Europe?
In Europe alone. But, you know, when you're down 30%, but now the next year, instead of being down 30, you're only down 25, it looks better.
Yes.
Where we're seeing around the globe is, especially the large crop production regions, where their currency devalued versus the dollar, because global commodities are normally sold in dollars or euros. A lot of them are doing well. So Brazil, for example, will be up 20% this year.
South America is going very well, I hear.
Yes, and part of that is with the real devaluing against the dollar. About 60% of a Brazilian farmer's input costs are in real, and 40% are in dollar or euro. But all their exports, they sell in dollar or euro. So they stay much more competitive on the global market when they're devalued. That was true for Russia as well, where the ruble is down. So those markets seem to be doing much better than, for example, the U.S.
And after Brexit.
And then after Brexit, you know, I'm not sure what will happen with Great Britain, but certainly right now it has helped them in the short term. The only ag market that we would say has not fundamentally improved is the U.S. market. And
North America.
North America market, yes, U.S. and Canada. And that's because, you know, commodity prices have remained very, very low. And so the farmer, while they're making some money, they're not making a lot of money. So they're staying much more conservative in their buying patterns.
So what would you say, we're on the plus side right now or on the minus side worldwide? If you would put it.
I would definitely say we're on the plus side, but the plus side again from what has been a very low base globally.
In your opinion, what are the key barriers holding back the uptake of digital and precision farming? We have seen many technologies. I have read they push the input cost down, they take the yield up. But the farmers are not embracing it yet, at least in Greece, I would say, for our market. What's the reason? You think it's the cost? You think we don't know those technologies yet?
Yeah, first off, we're furthest along with the adoption of precision ag from our standpoint in U.S. with farmers. But even there, I think we are up to 80 million engaged acres right now. Engaged meaning that they're using
in
precision.
Total, it's 80 million?
80 million out of 320 million. So we are making progress. We are investing heavily in all the components of precision ag. We're just now coming to Greece with, so part of that is we've been behind and the dealer is now taking up the precision ag technology. You need to staff it up with people here, which they've just done. But then to your point, and we see this all over, farmers are generally pretty conservative, and the adoption curve goes fairly slow on almost anything, especially when you're in a market where you're growing a crop one time a year, because the risk becomes
very high.
Versus say Brazil, where they're growing 2.5 crops a year, so the risk period is a lot shorter. They can prove it out. I suspect here that as we bring out the precision ag technology, that it will definitely not be an issue of farmers cannot afford it. They
can afford it.
They will be able to afford it. And I think there will be good value for them here, and especially in saving input costs as well as helping them drive yield improvements.
In Europe we have the Common Agricultural Policy. As you know, it's similar to the Farm Bill.
Yeah.
The CAP, as we say it here, provides subsidies for the purchase of agricultural machinery. However, here in Greece, the full absorption of these funds is not possible, mainly due to the difficulty of acquiring financial credit. Can you propose us some policies from the US Farm Bill or from your point of view that could be considered as alternatives to help farm mechanization and investment?
I'm probably not close enough to it to be able to give you an in-depth answer. The only thing that immediately comes to mind from the U.S. that helps farmers is the ability to have crop insurance.
Yeah.
And the government helps subsidize that crop insurance. And so that keeps a farmer from having a year where there's a total loss of their crop.
Anti-cyclical use, it's something like that, the name? Anti-cyclical subsidies, the farm insurance?
No, we call it crop insurance. And there's two different forms of crop insurance. One protects against a total loss of the crop. And there's a second form that also protects against downside on the price of commodities. That one costs a little bit more, but a lot of people use that. So that helps the farmer assure that they will have a guaranteed minimum amount of money at the end of the year, which would help with their credit.
So a little personal question.
Yeah.
So you have served the John Deere Group since 1975, is that correct?
That's correct.
Lawyer servant, as I may say. So can you tell us a few words about the history of this course and how do you see the developments in farming from the various positions you have covered?
Yeah, so I did start in 1975 as an industrial engineer, and I've been in all the divisions of the company, and I've spent most of my early part of the career in manufacturing and engineering, and the last half of my career running parts of the world, including the agricultural side of the business, in particular in Latin America, Southeast Asia, Oceania, China. And what I would say as it relates to the farming part of your question, you know, it used to be big farms and farms that were really good, high yield producers, farmers that were in a more limited number of areas of the world. Now you've gotten to the point that you have big farms and very, very productive farmers almost everywhere in the world where you have agriculture. I was a week ago, 2 weeks ago in Cape Town, South Africa, and we met with farmers there, and one farmer in particular had 9,000, in this case, acres of fruit trees. But you know, you get to, fruit trees, and you get to see how they develop. I've been in Kazakhstan, where the farmer there had 1.2 million hectares of land.
One farmer?
One farmer, dry land wheat farmer. And he would take a John Deere four-wheel drive tractor with a big air seeder on the back of it. And the operator would go out in the morning, one pass, a straight line to the horizon. Halfway through the day, he'd turn around, come back, and do the second pass. And just amazing. And so you see that. I was in Brazil and on a farm where it was 120. This is one of this farmer's farms, and it was 120,000 hectares. And he grew cotton, he grew soybeans, he grew eucalyptus trees. He had 10,000 head of cattle. So what you're seeing all over the world, what has changed is farming has just gotten much bigger, much bigger. And everywhere those big farms are, they have adopted the latest level of technology, and they're pretty doggone efficient. So that's probably the evolution that has been most impressive for me. And actually, where it's been the most impressive is where farming is the most difficult. So maybe my best example is Australia. Farmers receive no subsidies. The land is not super fertile. They have very little rain.
Yet they farm.
Yet they farm. And I was with a farmer last year that throughout the entire year, they only get 7 inches of rain and only 4 inches during the growing season. Yet he's consistently growing a crop using precision ag with our solutions. And he told us, he said, in the past, when I would have a dry year, I would lose my whole crop. Now I'm still getting a crop. So that improvement there, some of which is seed genetics, but a lot of it also is the technology that goes with the farming, the machinery and the agronomic information that they're getting from the machinery is allowing farmers to be much more productive. And I think that's going to continue.
So the digital and precision farming goes there. The evolution is there. Bigger and bigger farms, you would say like this.
Yeah, I think that's, I know people sometimes don't like to think about large corporate farms, but I think the reality is I'm only aware of one country where farm sizes are going smaller. Every other market, farm sizes on the whole are getting bigger.
Including here.
Including here. The one that's getting smaller is India. It keeps subdividing. The average farm size was 2 hectares a few years ago. It's down to 1.2 hectares now. But most places it is growing, and a lot of times there's a bifurcation. You may have a large group of small farms, and they may stay that way, but the big farms continue to get bigger and bigger.
Okay, so one last question from me. I found this information on the internet. I don't know if it's correct. So
okay.
John Deere and Company, they say that it was founded in 1837 by a blacksmith named John Deere,
right,
who turned a broken saw blade into a plow and sold it to pioneering farmers in Illinois.
Right.
So nowadays, what system is representing this broken saw blade,
right,
we'll say, that you're trying to convert to a state-of-the-art technology and will be crucial to the future of agriculture?
So that is very much true. There was a man by the name of John Deere, founder of the company. It was formed in 1837. The soil in the Midwest was so thick that the iron plows prior to that would cake on there, and they couldn't get it through. So he ended up taking a saw blade, which was polishing it, steel, and it would then scour off the mud of the soil, would just lay back over. So, and he would get his steel then from England, and that's why the company is in Moline, Illinois, on the Mississippi River.
Okay.
They would bring the material, the steel, in from England on barges. To answer your question today, I think the saw blade, broken saw blade of today is definitely our investments in precision ag and what we're doing there. It's a whole platform that's going to allow us to have the equipment become smarter and smarter to the point that it will be autonomous. It's going to allow us the ability to optimize the job site and literally manage the field plant by plant with every step of the way. So seeding, precise placement of every individual seed, the precise spraying of each individual plant, and the ability to vary this row from the next row in order to both reduce the input costs, pesticides, herbicides, etc., but also to improve yield and continue to drive yield. And I think while a lot has happened already in this area,
Yes.
this platform's just going to continue to grow and build out.
So we have seen nothing.
Well,
Like this.
you've seen something, but
Something, yes.
there's a lot more to be seen.